Wonderwerk Cave is an archaeological site, formed originally as an ancient solution cavity in dolomite rocks of the Kuruman Hills, situated between Danielskuil and Kuruman in the northern Cape Province, South Africa. It is a National Heritage Site, managed as a satellite of the McGregor Museum in Kimberley.Geologically. Hillside erosion exposed the northern end of the cavity, which extends horizontally for about 140 meters into the base of a hill. Accumulated deposits inside the cave, up to 7 meters in depth, reflect natural sedimentation processes such as water and wind deposition, as well as the activities of animals, birds and human ancestors over a period of some 2 million years. The site has been studied and excavated by archaeologists since the 1940s, and research here generates important insights into human history in the subcontinent of southern Africa. Evidence within Wonderwerk Cave has been called the oldest controlled fire. Wonderwerk means miracle in the Afrikaans language. Archaeological sequence. The cave contains up to 6 meters depth of archaeological deposits reflecting human and environmental history through the earlier, middle and later Stone Ages to the present. Cosmogenic dating suggests that basal sediment entered the cave some 2 million years ago. Rock art occurs in the form of parietal paintings within the first 40 meters from the entrance, possibly all less than 1,000 years old, and small engraved stones found within the deposit, mainly from the later Stone Age sequence, where they date back some 10,500 years. The associations of older engraved striated pieces have yet to be substantiated. Fertilizer extraction. Major damage was caused in the 1940s when local farmers dug up large parts of the cave interior to bag and sell organic rich material as fertilizer, which in fact comprised stratified archaeological deposits containing artifacts, bone and other material that would have been crucial to an understanding of the cultural and paleo-environmental history of the site. The presence of bone was reported upon, leading to the first archaeological and zooarchaeological investigations. Archaeological investigations. The initial archaeological studies of the 1940s by Mallon, Cook and Wells were followed up briefly by K.W. Say in the 1970s. Peter Beaumont of the McGregor Museum in Kimberley then carried out major excavations at the site between 1978 and 1993, with Anne Thackeray and Francis Thackeray working at the site in 1979, excavating and researching the latest Stone Age levels from cultural and archaeozoological perspectives respectively. Current work is being led by Professor Michael Chazan of the University of Toronto in collaboration with the McGregor Museum. A digital model of the site was created by laser scanning, forming part of the Zamani project. Key team members working on the dating of the lower units are Haggai Ron, Ari Matmorn, and Naomi Porat. Latest results of these archaeological, dating, sedimentological and paleo-environmental studies were reported at a symposium convened by Chazan at the site in June 2009. Paleo-environmental investigations. The sediments within the cave exhibit often exceptional preservation of organic remains, including fauna, both larger and smaller, which shed light inter alia on species extinctions relative to the end of the last ice age circa 10,000 years ago. Studied by Francis Thackeray. Margaret Avery researches the small mammal remains introduced to the cave sediments as part of the contents of owl droppings, and which are indicators of paleo-environmental conditions outside the cave. Leora Kolska-Horwitz and James Brink are analyzing the fauna from a taphonomic perspective. Also preserved are pollens, another key source of information on changing environmental conditions outside the cave, studied by E. M. Van Zinderen-Bakker and Lewis Scott. Lloyd Ross, who was researching phytoliths from the cave, which show changing vegetation profiles, while preserved charcoal is being studied by Marion Bamford to generate data on woody plants. Deposition processes have been the focus of work by Carl Butzer and, currently, Paul Goldberg. Progress in researching the paleo-environmental record at the site were summarized at the 2009 symposium at Wonderwerk Cave. Ritual uses. Indications of the cave's contemporary social or ritual significance relate entirely to the occasional collecting of water by local African people for healing purposes. Other nearby sites where beliefs concerning the ritual power of water are remarked upon, for example by members of the Zion Christian Church, include the Kuruman and Bozeman Spen. The past ritual significance of the site is subject to ongoing archaeological investigation. Rock paintings. The rock art on the walls of the cave near its entrance, being researched by David Morris, and engraved stones found in the deposit, may implicate changing ritual significance. The deep interior as ritual space. Aspects of the use of the cave's deep interior reaches are also being considered in these terms. Chazin and Horwitz refer, as Beaumont had done, to the introduction of monoports with special sensory properties by terminal Acheulean hominins, more than 180,000 years ago, to the deep interior of the cave, which is characterized by singular acoustic and visual qualities. Quote, they argue that the site provides a unique and extensive diachronic record of milestones in the development of symbolic behavior, and evidence to support the position that elements of symbolic behavior emerged long before the dispersal of modern humans out of Africa. Heritage status. Wonderwerk Cave, within a servitude ceded to the McGregor Museum, was declared a National Monument of South Africa in 1993. It was opened to the public as a site museum in 1993. In the same year, a major graffiti removal project was carried out. In 2000, new legislation made the site a provincial heritage site. Between 2003 and 2009 it was assessed in terms of the grading system prescribed by the National Heritage Resources Act and graded as a Grade I site. Declaration as a National Heritage Site followed, being published in the Government Gazette on 12 March 2010. Coupled in a serial nomination with Border Cave and Clasia's Rivermouth for South Africa's tentative list for World Heritage Inscription. It was re-nominated in its own right for the tentative list in April 2009. Wonderwerk Cave was one of the 100 sites selected for the 2010 World Monuments Watch by the World Monuments Fund.